So if you're new to insurance sales, you need to know some of the inside baseball, the lingo, the things contractually that may get you if you ain't careful. And the purpose of this video is to talk about 3 specific things related to selling insurance and the agencies and carriers you're associated with to make sure you understand how these different things work and then how to mitigate the problems that come from them. If you find yourself in that situation, or if you're interviewing with an agency that either supports or doesn't support that. So either way, we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to tell you more about these coming right up. My name is David Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, face-to-face and over the phone. If you want to check out more, click the links above or below to go to my website to learn more how that works. So thanks for being here. All right, so let's get started. The first thing here we're going to talk about, again, 3 things, 3 aspects of this business that you just got to be really careful about. The number one thing here on the list is talking about release provisions. So let's talk about what a release is. So a release is the ability to take your appointment affiliation with a carrier and move it from one agency to another. Because what happens is, in most cases, you can only have one affiliation through one agency, not multiple ones. But what happens if you join an agency and what they promise never actually pans out? All that great stuff they were selling you on, the blue sky, the Kool-Aid, it was spiked. It was terrible. It didn't work. What do? You still like to sell insurance. You like the carriers they showed you, but you don't like the agency. You don't want to be affiliated with them. Well, if you don't have the ability to get a release, then you can't move that affiliation over to a different agency. Let's say you want to go to yours truly, to Ford Insurance Group. We couldn't move that over because that agency won't allow it. So anytime you join an agency, you want to make sure to ask, do you release? If I don't find your setup to be good for my business, will you allow me to move it over from you to another one? And if they say no, you need to get a good reason why they say no. It's very rare there is any good reason why not to release upon request. Sometimes there is, but the vast majority of the time there isn't. They're keeping you hostage to a system that they didn't actually deliver their part on. So why is it right for them to hold you hostage if they didn't hold their end of the deal up? The problem is you can't go to the carrier and lobby them to release you. They just won't do it. It's just not in their setup. So the upline, the agency you work with, has to let you know ahead of time if they release or not. So you got to have that conversation up front. Number 2 on here is vesting. What is vesting all about? Well, vesting means that you own your book of business. The business you write is yours. And you continue, and this is the implication, you continue to get paid on that book of business, even if you're not associated with that agency and you're now associated with somebody else. What happens if you're not vested? Well, if you leave that agency, all that commission you would have been paid doesn't get paid to you. Legally, contractually, it gets paid to your upline, your agency you left. Now, why is that a problem? Because it's nice getting money from stuff that you earned. Do I have to explain that to you? It's nice if you wrote the business, paid for the leads in many cases, to still get paid on business you wrote from many, many years earlier, right? Well, that's what you're losing out on when you do not have a vesting provision in your contract. So what you want to make sure of is that you're vested. The good news is that most organizations do vest you, but some don't. And the way you know really quickly if you're not vested is if they set you up on what's called a line of authority contract. A line of authority contract just simply says that any commission is paid from the agency to you, not from the carrier to you. Okay? So many times inside of that contract, they don't have to vest you in the business. It's not always bad news. It's just a lot of the time it's bad news. So I don't personally recommend doing business with an organization that sets you up on a line of authority contract unless there's some additional contracting or additional contract language that allows you to own that future business if you decide to end the relationship with that agency. Number 3 is multi-level marketing. Most of the time, I don't have to convince you why multi-level marketing is a bad idea. We all kind of have that taste in our mouth because some friend of ours who we never want to talk to ever again, seemingly, comes and pitches us on this great opportunity selling us pills, potions, and powders. And 3 hours later, after we've learned about downlines and legs and all this crap that we just want to forget, we vow never to be involved with an MLM ever again, right? Well, guess what? The insurance business is heavily built on the MLM process. In many cases, hierarchically speaking, from a structured standpoint, think like a business structure, it is all MLM. But where you should be concerned with is the culture of MLM permeates heavily in a lot of different organizations. In other words, the MLM culture, I would define it as organizations that are dead steadfast on recruiting more than they are teaching you how to sell. And in the opportunity meetings, they tell you how great this guy over here is a millionaire, and he just recruits and he recruits and has other recruits that recruit, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And while it sounds great in the moment, the truth is you're at the bottom of this huge hierarchy, your commissions are probably terrible, and you're really going to have a short ceiling of income earning opportunity if you don't participate in the recruiting. So the point of the matter is that many times if you get involved in these MLMs, you're not paid well, you get a lot of hype, a lot of Kool-Aid, a lot of rah-rah, and not a lot of context and structure about how to sell insurance successfully. So my advice, what I think, just in dealing with this as a recruiter and talking to thousands and thousands of agents for 10 years now, is to simply avoid organizations that even seem like they're hyped up on the Kool-Aid when it comes to recruiting and the MLM. There are agencies, much like mine, that don't care about recruiting as a core component of the business. Yeah, it's important to me. I recruit. I have agencies who recruit. But what matters to me and what I think matters should be you selling insurance, learning how to sell insurance, successfully selling insurance. And once you've accomplished that, well, then recruiting kind of makes sense because you got something to teach. You're not going out there and recruiting people on a dream without any substance, right? We don't want to do that stuff. So there's some things I just wanted to throw out here in today's video to be aware of if you're just starting to look into this business and you kind of sense that it's fishy. Your spidey senses are right. Be very wary of what you're looking at. Do your due diligence. I would, in fact, recommend that you do some YouTube searches for David Duford MLM or David Duford scams and start to research some of these opportunities out there that really aren't opportunities for you. It's opportunities for them to take advantage of you. And of course, if you want to look at an agency that is legit and actually cares about its agents to help them become top producers, that's what we do. You can click the links above or below to check out more. If you've got any comments, criticism, questions, leave them below in the comments. Happy to answer anything that you might have. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Y'all take care.